The Nicaraguan regime decided to close the local office of the Organization of American States in the Central American nation and even revoke the credentials of many of its OAS representatives. These situations comes after different clashes between the international body and of course the socialist dictatorship of Daniel Ortega in Nicaragua. The latest situation that made him decide to quit the OAS was right after winning his charade election, when the body criticized Ortega and even claimed that his re-election was fully illegitimate. This was like the latest chapter in this conflictive relationship between the Organization of American States and of course the Nicaraguan regime. In a statement, the Nicaraguan regime said, and I'm quoting the Nicaraguan regime, "We ratified our unwavering decision to leave the OAS. Nicaragua is not a colony of anyone." Of course, this is nothing more than the typical narrative that the vast majority of left-wing governments in Latin America use using the international community to victimize themselves, essentially, to paint their governments as if they were like some kind of heroic group that is trying to break the chains of colonialism, for example. Something quite pathetic, actually. Something that fortunately, the vast majority of Latin Americans doesn't buy this narrative, but the vast majority of left-wing governments in this region tend to use it. So it's not a surprise that the Nicaraguan regime published this type of statement. So we need to remember, as we said in a previous episode here on Newsweek, that last month Nicaragua's then ambassador to the OAS accused the Ortega dictatorship of repressing the political opposition, of human rights abuses, and of course cracking down freedom of speech in the Central American nation. A situation that a lot of people already knew, not only because of the different news that has been published about the Nicaraguan regime, but also because of the political exiles, of the different members of Nicaragua's political landscape that decided to escape, and they reveal a lot of things about the Nicaraguan regime that many people didn't know. Because unfortunately, we need to remember that the Nicaraguan regime doesn't grab that attention as, for example, the Venezuelan regime or the Cuban regime. People tend to forget that there is a huge dictatorship in Nicaragua. So this situation only shows that Managua is willing to start isolating itself, and unfortunately, knowing by the cases of Cuba and Venezuela that they could essentially benefit from this situation. Given the cases of Cuba and Venezuela, the Nicaraguan regime know that they could get away with murder. They could actually benefit from this situation, as this will allow the regime to increase its power on an internal level, which is of course the highest goal, the biggest goal of every single dictatorship, just like the Nicaraguan. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.